Welcome to Materia D&D session 125. That's Jones, my honorary DM, chilling, so you don't get to see my ugly mug for now. So we're picking up with the Menagerie story, the Crass Menagerie, at session 125, where we played. Oh wow, I completely botched the intro. Welcome to D&D, where we play Materia D&D, where we play D&D our way. That's what I should have said. Anyways, doesn't matter. Last time in our previous session, the Menagerie were coming down from the high and the excitement of slaying and killing a dragon, a particular green dragon that had dubbed itself the Despoiler of Virtue, the Avatar of Avarice, and many other titles. But proper name was Aristratar, a green dragon that had a particularly unique trait about it that for some reason would allow it to turn itself into a misty form. However, working together and with the aid of the crack checker kobolds that are the wardens and denizens of the Snoring Mountain, where they are located, they were able to fell Aristratar. Some promises for Aristratar's corpse were made, and thus Aristratar the Menagerie began the slow and grueling process of butchering Aristratar's corpse after speaking with Dead and getting some information from it. Key information which led them with high curiosity to decide to return to her lair and see what remains inside, specifically a tree that she mentioned had fruit that was more precious than any hoard. So they butchered the effervescing corpse, which was heavily emaciated after falling to her death, and fed it to Rock's bag based on a promise. And once they finished that, they had their evenings and ventured into the lair, as mentioned, the following day, where they quickly navigated relatively easily to the first obstacle, a wall of jagged brambles and roots, sharp, jagged, craggy pieces of stone stood before them. A nasty thicket blocked their way, where the Menagerie learned that this is a formidable layer defense. But they managed to get through it, and they even learned that stepping through it magically, it seemed to exist in other planes of reality or have a magical reach, causing pain even if you were to teleport through it. However, Rock was able to dispel it twice because there was two such walls, and the Menagerie were able to navigate the cave, the lair. Yes, Davis thought that using Al's conspirator's crest to turn into ravens and charging one of them into the barrier was what was getting it to go away, but that was not the case. Anyways, we are picking up with the Menagerie having trekked what they believe and what looks like, according to the map, through the entirety of Aristratar's lair. They managed to, with a system of ropes tied off by Dragnar, make it easier for the group to navigate and climb upwards, as a portion of the cave that they had never seen before seemed to be the resting layer, or resting portion where Aristratar would slumber. It was upon 15 or so foot shelves, and there was multiple of them, so it took a little bit of navigating to get there. However, they did run across the tree in natural daylight, though overcast due to the weather outside. A large tree that spans 60 plus feet actually through the ceiling of the cavern, and actually does manage to poke outside of the mountain. Hidden, though, as the mountain is overgrown due to the effects of Aristratar or the tree or whatever, Stranglebark magic. Spending time around this portion of the layer, Also brought in with the menagerie brought in with them 3 kobold scouts: Emu, no, maybe you say his name wrong. Emu, Temin, and Bradburn, which were just helping investigate and scout as they could. One thing that really stood out to the group was that where the tree was near the base, there was a portion that was almost like embedded, had like a divot or a soft spot, which was determined to be caused by, well, where Rishatar actually slumbered. And as the group kind of understands, dragons slumber on their hoard to grow and gain strength. So why she slumbered here rather than the massive hoard that she has in the pool of water below them is an interesting concept. Other things that the menagerie did pick up on is that there were no fruits on the tree, but the tree was surrounded by nearly 24 lizard folk corpses, though long dead, bound and gagged in different ways. Some of them wrapped in roots and other type of foliage and plant life, but identified as lizard folk due to their skulls very easily by rock. The last thing that the menagerie did was Karos got to embrace his inner kitty and start digging, see where the Aristotar slept, and very quickly got down to a portion of the root system where they found one of the fruits that grow underground off the roots, seemingly a brown little nub. But inside, they know that the contents is most likely this unnatural birthday cake blue color. As the reason they know for this is because Dregnar had found a little piece of the fruit discarded and began running some experimentation with his hedgecrafter's kit and other alchemical supplies that he had. And when the menagerie were interacting with the substance from the fruit, their basic magics began to kind of run amok. I think that's pretty much it for a really bad recap because it was out of order. But hey, that's what you get when you have me as a DM.
Of course.
So I think I covered those things. But yeah, so I think we're basically picking up with you guys. I don't know how who's like all in the little hole that Karos had just dug up, but you have I don't know even if you guys technically pluck the fruit. You have the small fruit, about the size of the average size of a human palm, round little brown ball that's growing off of one of the little exposed roots that Karos had dug up.
By the way, congratulations, Karos. First 40 of the campaign, I think.
Yes.
The first
You
one.
got a 40 on digging up the ground.
Oh,
glorious.
You rolled a 19 plus your 13 athletics, and then an 8 on an inspiration.
Pardon?
A bardic inspiration got you to a total of 40. So you literally just peeled back the ground,
nice.
like with one hand.
Yeah, it was soft and squishy. He was sleeping there. Okay. So,
Excavation.
yeah. He was a archaeologist in a previous life.
I think it's as is on the Roll20. I think it's those 3 guys, right?
What do you mean?
In
Those 3 guys?
tunnel, or in the where the ground is.
Oh, that's what the circle is. Okay.
Yeah, Dragnar's like on the edge.
I had backed up intentionally because I was freaked out.
Oh, that's right.
Because
Okay.
y'all were doing the weird magic-y shit. I don't remember if you did mention that in the recap because I was busy typing to Karos the stuff that he needs to mark off.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mentioned
so-
it. I forgot. Like I skipped that part. I was like, oh yeah, and the reason they knew about
That's
it was because Dragnar was da-da-da. So I don't know, Sugi, if you haven't caught up, did you catch up or no?
I got to within. Where was I? There was 30 minutes left of the second video. So I missed all. Yeah, I missed where you mentioned I digged and that I what I used.
All right. So did you get the part where the minor illusion was interacting with the juice of the fruit, and later Al was I guess Al, did you minor illusion again? I forgot what you
He
did.
did a kobold, right?
No,
First one.
this was
the
right
last one.
about as we were getting in and trying to decide, like we had gotten to the tree, you were kind of describing the tree, but
Gotcha.
we hadn't done anything yet.
Okay, so yeah, what was that, Al? Sorry.
Just the one minor illusion.
Yeah, guys. Well, so yeah, Carlos, the main things that you missed, and just to make it a little bit more clear for you in the recap, is Ragnar found like a little piece of discarded fruit. Nearly impossible to ascertain like how big the fruit itself was because it was just like a piece. Uh, the outside of the fruit just looks like brown dirt. It doesn't look special, but on the inside, it is like birthday cake, unnatural blue, and it's like a pudding. There was enough of a little bit of a sample there, and he started like kind of using his hedgecrafter's kit, his alchemical supplies, and all that to kind of experiment with it, and being very careful not to touch it. Um, some of like the juice kind of spilled on the ground, and when he did like a minor, because he could like kind of when he was messing with it, he could kind of feel like for him like the shadows that make up his magic kind of being like pulled and drawn to it and kind of amplified. So then he got the idea to cast minor illusion near a little pool of juice, and the juice began to kind of spark a little bit, and you saw that the minor illusion, which was a cube, formed like another cube, but like in a diamond shape, and it started to fractal out like crazy.
Okay.
And then he can't dismissed it, and it took a couple seconds for it to dismiss, and then the juice like burnt out. Then I think it was either Al or Dragnar did it again with a minor illusion, and he did a cube again, but this time it was just making copies of the cubes next to each other. It was just kind of like multiplying out. And then finally, Al tried one, and he did a minor illusion and did like a plushie of
Cobalt.
cobalt. Yeah, he did a cobalt plushie, and then next to a little splits of the juice, and it started to do like the burn away effect that he has, like when he's casting Disguise Self, like the trail of fire on like a piece of paper, and it went to like a kobold, it went to Aristotar, it went to Al, it just kept warping to different people that Al has seen recently, and even Navori was one of them. So that's it really. And then you decided to dig a hole, and you exposed a lot of the roots, which go. It's a massive root system, but you just exposed part of it. There's a little nubby fruit about the size of like your human palm.
We also sent a message to Navari trying to get her to come here,
Yep.
but we couldn't
Yes.
describe how to get her here.
I
Yeah.
kind of described at the end, but it was. I don't remember what the exact remark was, but it might have been a little weak.
Yeah, she's like, I want to help, but I don't know how to find you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's, anyways. So to set the scene in the ambiance one more time, the kobolds have come down from the tree, which they have confirmed that it does breach the ceiling, and it does actually reach to the outside, and it is natural light coming down. However, it has been like dark, not stormy, but there's been like the rumbles of thunder distant high up in the sky. Since you guys woke up this morning, it happened during the evening when you rested. So the kind of like that overcast light is coming through. They are currently with Loon just watching y'all's back as you guys are experimenting and digging around. Oh, that's the other thing. I think you got that in the recap, but the two surviving draconic one of the warrior, which was like the greed rot that was transformed, and yeah, the perfect scale sorcerer. They were like just stuck in the nasty bramble and just bled to death. So Rock went through their bodies. The Draconoid warrior had like basically nothing on him. He's essentially naked. And I gave Rock what the perfect scale had, but it was like a mantle, a dagger where they had like a really intricate like end hilt portion to it, and I forgot what else. I think there was one other thing. So he'll remind me, and I'll find it in my notes. So yeah, you're up there, not on the map, but basically all around the edge of the tree and stuff like that. There's old, you're talking like mostly old dead bodies of all lizard folk, about 20 or so. So you guys are free to do as you wish. It looks like you have no Wrath of Jones right now. He's sleeping. So
Quick, do everything.
yeah, do all the things.
Oh.
And I'm just gonna find where I have Dragnar's rolls from the last time he missed the session, just to have them in case we need them. Till he
Is
gets
there
here.
any of like obvious fruit around me on the ground, or are they just like under the ground and stuff?
You could give me another. You can give me an investigation check if you're actually kind of like going like kind of trudging through and looking, or you can give me a perception check if you're just kind of like scanning the area and looking up in the tree and down the roots. Your choice.
We'll do the perception.
I figured you would, Mr. Cleric.
I mean, he could use his wisdom on
it's
investigation
okay.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the feet. But
26 total.
Damn.
26.
Ooh.
So now that you've seen like one of the tubers, let's call it, right? The fruit tubers, like from the ground, it's still affixed to the root because you guys have never told me that you've taken it off. And now you're like scanning the ground. You're familiar with what that unnatural birthday cake blue is, and nope, that little fragment that Dragnar had found, and that one that's like before you on the route, is pretty much the only thing that you're seeing. I will say, with that high enough of a perception, the spot where some of the little juice had splattered and kind of out and burnt out, there's no actual like burn effect or anything. It's like just as if it just like dissipated. Like there's no sign or semblance or any type of stain or wet mark or anything that would indicate that there was a splash of this blue fruit pudding juice. It's gone.
I'm gonna look to Dregnar. Hey Dregnar, you're working on maybe we should just be careful for what we have, because it doesn't look like there's much of this, and there's definitely not much left. And when it leaves or dissipates, it's gone completely.
Yeah, no, and he kind of takes up one of the vials that he fills. He's like, I got like one, I think, and I put the remaining of it in like a little sealed box. So we got that. I just don't want anyone to really touch it, right?
How well sealed is that? Because that was doing some funky stuff. I don't think we want that happening.
I mean, he kind of grabs it and shakes it. I think it's sealed.
Yeah, we should do some tests.
Splash.
If that's gonna be around, which I don't know. That's oof. It's just
I just don't wish to something. It doesn't feel like this is easy to replicate, and it was of higher worth to the dragon than her entire hoard, and it could very easily be gone forever. I feel
Yeah,
like.
and it's gonna sound stupid, but I've seen a lot of trees. I ain't ever seen a tree like this. It
Never.
just looks so generic. Like it looks, I don't know, almost.
Like some sort of spooky magic.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't like it.
yeah.
I mean, it looks like a tree. It leans on the trunk of it, pushes on it. It feels like a tree.
Are you saying It's not a tree?
I don't know. I get as Marv would say, heebie-jeebies from this
I'm
thing.
gonna, and this might seem weird, but I'm Davis, so whatever. I'm gonna put my ear to the tree and listen for like a heartbeat or anything inside of it.
You know, that's exactly what Davis would
Yeah,
do.
I
So
agree.
you're right.
I like it.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check. At advantage because you have your ear up against the tree.
16.
16. Trying as I want to say desperately, but we'll use the word desperately. Trying as desperately as you can to kind of filter out any external noises, as well as slowing your breathing, trying not to have your listen to your heart pounding in your chest. As you know, you're still in a fucking dragon's lair. You hear that distant sound of thunder. Kind of listen past that. Silent.
Yeah, you see him just take his head off and shake it, be like,
Not talking today.
I mean, it's
Damn.
just a tree. That's just a tree.
I mean, it could be just a tree, but it could be just a tree from somewhere that shouldn't be here. And it definitely feels like it shouldn't be here. Who knows where that would be?
Sesh, something I'm going to give you as a carryover from your 26, just because I was looking at my notes. As you're scanning and looking up, trying to see if maybe the fruits that you are on both, you're still trying to figure out where they come from. You got one for sure on the bottom. Maybe this tree bears different fruit. Who knows? Something that catches your eye, and it's extremely faint, and it's difficult. Like you for a moment when you see it, you kind of take like a double peek or double glance at it. The leaves, super generic, like the most basic looking leaves you can imagine, basking in that pale kind of overcasting sunlight. However, there's the faintest of blue tone and like blue hint to it, almost as if like when you see people that have like an automobile that has multi-tone paint, and only when you look at it at like the right certain angle does that black all of a sudden become purple or something.
It's got like an oily sheen.
Almost to it, but it's so faint, and it almost resembles that unnatural birthday cake blue. But that's about the only other thing that you get from it.
This whole, if you look so closely, if you really look closely, I'm just kind of saying it out loud while stroking my trunk. If you really look closely at those leaves, you can almost see like a lighted sheen to it. It's like it's imbued or something.
If any of you are going to try to look, I'm going to need y'all to give me perception checks, because it's kind of like that thing where someone says, "Do you see that squirrel all the way over there on that branch on the tree all the way over there?" And you're like, "Yeah, I totally see it."
Yeah, all right, Magic Man, whatever you say.
Yeah, David.
I like squirrels. I got 24.
Yeah.
I rolled a 2.
How rolls it to
Oh, I rolled
11
11.
total. Yeah. So Rock, like you're peering up, and it takes a moment, and you're kind of like when you're moving your head kind of side to side, kind of trying to see the angle. You do pick up on it as well. It's just that ever so, like, I don't want to use the word aura of blue, but that's like the best descriptor I can think of. It's like this faint sheen or aura of blue, ever so slightly coming off of a leaf, like each leaf.
Like, doesn't it seem like it glows just a little bit?
No.
I can see it. No one else can see it? I can see it.
No, they're just leaves.
But
Well, they are just leaves, yes.
I mean, like,
Blue?
You know,
Mm,
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not like I know what's different about it.
Is the sunlight coming down through the hole still
Yeah. However,
onto the tree?
yeah, as you're looking at it, Carlos, like, you're trying to, it's very hard to see through the tree and see it, but there is like one little hole that you're able to see, and you can tell that it's just super cloudy outside.
Mm.
And you're kind of like looking, you hear the distant rumble of thunder.
I mean, should we just take some of this and give it to somebody who knows what they're doing, or what? I mean, we can't just wait here and I don't know. What are we doing?
It's a good question. What are we doing?
I mean, it's not super great here, right? Like, there's still a big boy in there, at the very least, that we know of.
And question: did you find the eye on the way here, or we haven't looked yet?
We haven't looked, but we presume that the sovereign has the actual eye, right? Because of what.
Oh, that's
Draco
right.
saw? Yeah.
He stole it. Mm.
He was but a wee adventurer or squire or something.
Right, as part of some larger
He
group.
watched all the, yeah, he watched all of his friends die, or
Hmm.
Mm,
What a sad story. I mean, what should we do? I wish.
My concern is if we do leave it as is, once the news of the dragon being slain spreads, I mean, people were already trying to invade this place with a dragon in it.
Were they?
I don't think the eye got stolen, right?
I mean, that was a while ago.
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
I didn't hear any mention of this at Carver.
They don't seem to know dragon.
I was saying, Ragnar will pitch up and say, I've been through Carver a few times. Never heard of any rumor of a dragon.
Yeah, it seemed like she was just content to rest here and build
Well,
her power up.
she
Strange.
also was pretty emaciated, and she's one of the original dragons. She's as old as time, basically. I. She made the appearance that she was like her youth, but when she died, the truth, it feels like it was revealed. She was very weak. So I don't think she left the mountain very often.
Ragnar, as you're in that hole, kind of kicks the dirt, like, maybe ever since us. Like, it looks like she's just been sleeping here pretty much the whole time.
Hey, Dregnar, do we know, like, so the shadows spoke to you about the eye being stolen from here. Do we get any sense of, like, how old was the sovereign when that happened? Did you have, like, a good look on, or we think it's the sovereign, right? Did you get a sense of how old he would be so we can get some idea of when that might have taken place? Because I think you know how old he is now. I have no idea.
He's older now. I mean, I saw like a reflection of a kid, not a kid's face. I'm just gonna say I saw like a kid's reflection in that gem.
Ah, okay. So, like, a very novice adventurer type.
Yeah, like he didn't belong.
Hmm.
Pretty sure he was just brought along to carry the
Kind of
equipment.
like a squire or something. Nice.
Yeah, he looked really pathetic. Like
So
seriously,
how old
like
is he now? He's like 30, 40 years older now, you think?
maybe
Maybe
more.
more. Is he human? You cut
the
you cut
beef.
out, Adam. Sorry.
This is my cat.
You're too far.
Yeah, I don't know him. I think I may have seen him before, but frankly, I just have beef with
I mean,
him.
Amara
So
was his daughter. She
yeah,
was
looks like
human,
it.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he can't be much older than like 60, 70, something like that, right?
Sure. And we know, well, what Amara said is apparently she's got a brother that's really sick.
Oh, is he still around? I didn't know.
She didn't make it sound like he was dead. If you remember, I think talking with Grant, they were going to try to figure out a way to help the guy.
Oh man, yeah, that seems so long ago, but I guess it was like a couple months ago. Okay.
Something about like a body that's failing. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bring up bad stuff. So yeah,
That's
50
fine.
years ago, 60 years ago could have been the last time people were even aware that this place existed.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, there's no. How do I put this? If there's legend or lore wherever we travel, normally like a town will pick up on it, and there was no like Dragon's Head Tavern or come to the spa in the Dragon's Shadow. I don't think anyone
Yeah,
knows.
speaking of like lore, who was that healer lady? She like seemed to have good history stuff on like the mimics, right? So if we ask her and she has no idea, then like nobody does, right? Or Scoot, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. He's been around for a long time.
500 plus.
Yeah, we should get it with him and see what if he knows anything about this. Not necessarily the tree itself, just like anything deep and funky in the mountain, right?
Yeah, keep it vague. I'm up for it.
And then
And
I'll look
anywho,
at Sedge. I'll be like, and I think we could probably have Navori just meet us there, because it's gonna take us a little while to get there. She may even be able to get there faster than we do.
Yes. I think you're right. I gave them what the instructions that I could,
Yeah, you did the XOXO. It
and
was good.
whether they get here or not, really doesn't change our trajectory much, does it? So even if they show up to inspect it themselves on their own, us being here doesn't really help or detract much. So I think we're okay to leave, right?
Nod my head.
Is it
what?
all the leaves that glow or just some?
Uh, you know what? You have your shield, so that gives you advantage. So as you're like listening to them talking, Rock, and you're just kind of scanning, it's all of them, but like if I were to give it like on a scale from 1 to 100 how much they glow, it's like 0.0001, right? It's like so faint. Like you have to like catch it just right. There's a little blue. There's a little blue.
Can I take a handful of leaves with me?
Sure, yeah. Are you taking some that have? You know what? Something I was going to point out. Now that you say that, you're looking for leaves to grab. Not a single leaf on the ground.
Oh, I don't want to pluck the tree. Do I want to pluck the tree? I will pluck a single leaf from the tree, and I apologize to the tree.
Yes.
You're like kind of looking for one to reach. It's kind of out of reach.
If I see him reaching
Some
for
of
it,
the
I'll try and
brown.
help.
Oh, okay. I'll give the kobolds a chance to be
I was
useful.
gonna
But
talk to them in a minute anyway.
so, James, you're like kind of reaching. You're like, out of reach. Do you want to climb a tree?
I'm down to climb it because I can fall as far as 40 feet without worrying.
Go
I
for
They
it.
have those nice ropes, don't they?
I can also just jump.
That's
What?
true. He can jump further.
I'm just having a little fun, you know. So yes, you are able to
Dare you?
work together, and however you wish to say. We'll just say, as Davis is looking to climb the tree, he begins climbing the tree, and Rock, you just gotta jump.
Okay.
Yeah, I wait till he's like just about to get them, and I'm gonna like jump and grab him and be like, got it.
Nah, thanks. I jump and fall off.
You fall on your back.
I'd like to bite the leaf.
What?
There's like a sprinkle. like like a fresh green leaf.
I'm gonna. Do I see this
Of
happening
course.
with my passive
Dude.
perception?
Yeah, of course. He's not
I'm not
hiding.
hiding it. I'm just like grabbing it and just
Right
like,
as you put that in your mouth, I'm gonna be like, Rock, what are you doing? You're crazy.
it's not the fruit. It's leaf, and it was blue. I want to see what it tastes like.
Well, that sheen is commonly attributed, and I tell him about poison ivy and how it's all oil based and everything.
Oh, that's hilarious. I should have thought of something like that, but I didn't.
I like
Damn.
stop mid bite and I stare at you. Serious? I like and
Yeah.
I put the leaf in my pocket.
Okay. You didn't bite through the leaf. I'm assuming you just kind of crunched on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you crunched on it. It is just like any leafy green. Kind of crunched a little bit. Tasted. I mean, I didn't really think of a taste for the leaf,
How
so
dare
tasted
you.
kind of vegetable-y and had maybe the ever so slightest hint of like a citrusy aftertaste. Um, I will say that as you like stopped and kind of pulled the leaf out, you felt uh, maybe like the ever slightest sensation of like a little like a static shock kind of, but like just a little nothing. You're not in pain. You're not in that. Savage, as you noticed, go ahead and give me a perception check, but I actually need you to roll this one.
Sure. $14 total.
Yeah, you don't pick up on anything immediately, or like when he stops to chew and he starts spitting out. He seems okay. Like he's not swelling, or he's not breaking out in hives, or his face isn't turning blue or anything.
Well, Brock,
Yeah.
did it taste like anything?
Tastes like leaf. I don't know. It kind of tingled.
Disappointing.
I was hoping maybe something would happen or the tree would react or something. Because there's no leaves on the ground anywhere. I don't know. Sorry, tree friend, if that hurt.
It's just, but it's not alive. Well, I mean, it's not a. It doesn't speak, right?
Hey, tree, do you speak?
You just hear some little
It's just
amongst.
we
Go
hear,
ahead.
Yeah.
it just farts. It's a farting tree. This is the worst tree I've ever seen.
Roll a con save. Stinking cloud has been cast.
As you're like
Does not speak.
the kobold guides with you just kind of start chattering amongst themselves.
I am gonna plant one of my little white flowers with the tree.
Okay. One of your little white flowers that are from
The frog guy's realm, aren't they?
Mothra's realm, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
shit, nice. I'm gonna call down to Bradburn and be like, "Hey, Bradburn.
Yeah, boss.
I'm not your boss, but is any like you guys go in and out of Carver grabbing stuff, right?
Yeah, all the time.
Do they even know about this?
Nope.
So is it like just you guys that know about the dragon and all this stuff in here? And
Yep. Oh, and those messed up gray people that seem to be totally afraid of
yeah,
it
but
and everything.
they're
But yep,
all in the mountain, and they're not leaving at all.
they don't leave. They don't. They just sit there and eat their fungus stuff.
Do you know about the mimics? I don't even remember if we told you about them. Do you know what a mimic is? Have you seen them? Looks
Do I know what a mimic is? Do I know what a mimic is? He kind of turns to. Do I know what a mimic is?
it looks like a thing, like a pickaxe. We saw like would bleed because it was not a pickaxe. It was like like alien thingy. I don't know. Have you ever seen anything like that?
They all turn amongst themselves again and go like, and then start chattering amongst themselves. I mean, and something that you notice about Bradburn, he speaks really good common and isn't as like squeaky of a voice as his other two companions. No, boss. I mean, I'm sorry, not supposed to say boss. No, sir. Don't know what a mimic is.
Okay. Never mind then. Okay. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So are we going to go do anything else? Are we leaving? What's
I don't know, guys. We live in because if we do want to leave, we might want to take care of the thing that I just mentioned that lives here.
I'm okay with that. If we do or don't, but either way we're leaving, yes.
Dragon will pipe up? I mean, kind of curious to see what the greedy thing collected.
That's true. We can find some cool shit.
Yeah, and I mean, we might be able to fund some
But we do
things.
gotta be careful. Remember, we haven't explored this whole area, and we know that at least one bad boy's down there. So
Well,
no,
yeah,
I'll say
didn't
no wandering, and I'll stare at a rock.
I thought we were really concerned about it being cursed riches, even though the dragons did.
Oh yeah, it could be right.
One way to find out.
I mean, I was gonna pick it up.
Whoa.
So, I mean,
We can cure you, but you might get a tentacle in your throat, I think. Is that what it was? Yeah, tentacle in your throat.
I'd rather not that.
It's up to you, dude.
Al's got a big frown.
I
um,
doesn't sound
I
pleasant.
jumped down.
the only thing that Dragon. Well, I guess I know we don't want to split up, but give me like starts counting the bodies. Give me like 10 minutes to get them all, at least off the wall and out of the roots and stuff. I feel kind of like they deserve some kind of semblance of rest.
Oh, sure. I'll help.
Thanks.
I'll help out however I can.
Alright. I mean, it's not too hard. I mean, the ones that are like seemingly like the ones that are seemingly like tied or bound by some of like the roots or vegetation that has grown to kind of hold them in place. They've been dead for so long that you can like it's just like pulling bones um, out of the vegetation. There's no real sinew even or any muscle or any skin. It's just bone. So you're able to within 7 to 10 minutes gather the remaining bones of the roughly 20 lizard folk. Just kind of at least put them down on the ground and let them rust.
On our way up here, you mentioned at least one of the trees had golden riches stuck into the wood, as if it had kind of grown around it, I guess.
Yeah,
Is this tree exempt from that?
it is. As you're kind of looking it over, does not seem to have any. Does not seem to be like seedlings that was like embedded in ground that already had plenty of riches and then just kind of became one with it. No, it's uniquely and solely itself.
I'll mutter that while we're working the bodies through the roots. I'll just, no gold here. Only the other trees.
We
Keep helping.
gonna just bury the fruit again, or what are we doing? This needs to be like a group decision.
That's such a hard decision. I really don't know.
Since the tree's still standing, I think keeping it to try and figure more out about it is a good idea. That might help us come to some kind of final decision, because I don't know if
It
there's any
just
too valuable, powerful to exist.
well that I exactly my fears are the same exact way, but I just don't know if it should be here. It seems dangerous to take with us, but also we would be depriving it of its only fruit. Hmm. And if it's supposed to be here, or if it's a bone to the land, then I don't know. Very confusing.
All right, so we're letting the cat cover it up, and we're getting out of here. He grins at Karos.
I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
We need to reiterate with the kobolds not to fuck with the tree, not to take the stuff, or do you think they get it?
Once more wouldn't be a bad idea.
All right, talk to the O-suit, make sure they understand. Plan. All right, so we're gonna go kill a mimic.
Hmm. Hey, if everybody's down for that, yeah, absolutely.
I
And we
mean,
might as well free this mountain of danger, right? I mean, it'd be kind of a I kind of like a public service. You remember doing those things?
Oh, what now?
I mean, if they're gonna have new inhabitants and this new fresh stake of land this mountain is about to be from many more than just this greed rot and dragon. There are many dangers like that mimic still awaiting its new inhabitants.
Okay. For the greater good kind of. Okay.
I mean, we could leave the mimic to kill unfortunate little guys, but I mean, if we're all good on killing it, why not? I'm down.
Ragnar just kind of looks over at Rock, says, "You good with the thing, or do you want to try to do the thing that you do and eventually and convince this thing to go into the cave or something?"
I'm good. I'll follow you guys. Whatever you guys want to do.
All right. So, consensus is y'all are gonna go kill Z Mimic.
And loot.
Yes.
Mhm.
And see if the coins are fake or just tiny coin mimics.
But your little mimic babies. Shit.
This one large mage mimic that has animate objects ready to go, and
No.
So, covering up the root system, heading back down the different steps of Aristotar's lair, you go, reach the edge of the water, still off-colored due to the blood magic that was happening within it. With the light spells that you guys have at your disposal, you're able to see the glint and the sheen of all manners of precious metals and gems, some of which in their natural state, some of which cut, some metals in coins, some in different various forms like scepters, crowns, jewelry, etc. Poking and prodding around, you're eventually able to coerce the massive mimic out of its hiding, and it's continuing its task to protect the horde. Some exchanges are made back and forth. However, it is apparent to y'all that it is alone. And with relative ease and coordination, having rested for the day and all that, you are able to dispatch of the mimic easily. Honestly, it's not worth rolling a combat for a single horde mimic with a
I
party
was
of.
just gonna use my level 6 and just disintegrate it immediately. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
you literally disintegrate.
So,
Is that what you?
Burn.
no, I don't think he has
Okay.
it.
No.
Yeah, so as you guys are wading through the water as a group, I'm just gonna generally move you guys. Just give me a second.
Let it be known that when Davis went down these steps, he backflipped off of each and every one of them.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how you know his totem is tuned to cat's grace. Has turned to cat's grace that day.
I was
Yeah.
kind of jaw drop looking back and forth between like Sedge and Cars, like you just did.
Yeah, he does that. He climbs random buildings when he doesn't need to and jumps off of them. I'm just kind of grouping you guys up just so I can mass move you. Let me mass move you guys. So, go back here,
Back
Davis.
at it. Sorry.
Let's go.
And
Make sure you alt tab us
Left
or alt
foot,
ping us
right foot.
afterwards. So that
yeah, well, I'm just kind of giving you like a rough idea.
Whoa.
Did that move you?
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Did not mean to grab his body though. His body goes back.
We took it with it.
I mean, you took his stuff. A rock took his stuff. So yeah, that's the dispatched mimic. Yeah, as you are waiting in some portions of this like underground pool, you see just an amassed hoard. I mean, there's gold, platinum, silvers, coinage, bars, ores, uncut. It's pretty much a lot of what you can imagine. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna look for anything that's not coins, like anything that's like weapons, armors, like other knickknacks, just anything that's not like coins and gems, like stuff that's not what we saw in the shiny hoard.
I mean, in Simon's little
Right.
pouch.
I'm gonna look for anything that looks ordained. Gold.
Like an object that's made of gold.
Yeah, but something that looks like ordained or churchly or something like that. Something that looks like holy.
Okay. So for anyone that is specifically looking for things, you're gonna have to give me perception checks.
Can I look for the least appealing object in here? Like something that just like you look at it and you're like, why the heck would this be treasure?
Yeah, I mean, everyone, if you're looking for anything, just kind of declare what you're looking for, and let's start the investigations.
Rock's pulling that like Carpenter's Cup shit in the Holy Grail room on Last Crusade. It's the most basic thing. Jesus was a carpenter.
Is it an investigation check or what?
Perception, he said.
Investigation.
Oh, investigation? Okay.
Investigation.
Yeah, because you have to actually, it's under you, so you have to go down and start moving stuff around. So you're like in some portions you are diving and you are completely submerged.
I got a 26. I'm gonna find the most dumbest thing
Holy
ever.
shit.
You find a
Well,
wagon.
okay. Here's the thing. I will allow you to describe the dumbest thing that you find.
Rock
So
is
I'll let
looking
you kind of
back at himself and his reflection.
Yeah,
He finds a mirror.
I'm gonna need a minute to reflect on that.
Yeah. I will allow you. This is where I'm going to give it to you. You find the dumbest thing that you would imagine that would just make every one of you go, why did it have this? Okay.
Real quick, with
Mhm.
the idea of tabard in the back of my mind, can I just go for what I would think is the most valuable stuff? Gems, crowns, just try and find that kind of stuff. And I can only carry like half a pound, so I'm going for the highest price to weight ratio, you know.
Okay.
Dragon air.
You've had a snake oil. Now try some dragon air.
This crystallized air is just as weightless as the oxygen you and I breathe, but dragons just love to gobble it up.
Some kind of primordial deliciosity. You gotta have it. Come on.
All right. Oh yeah, and I need Ragnar because he had one. Let's see. His little cheat sheet of rolls.
I think
Someone tell me table 1, table 2, or table 3. Just give me a number.
Table 3.
Yep, 3. Roll. Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 through 9.
7.
6.
I heard first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Three.
All right, you gave him a fucking natural 20. Good job.
Woo!
Okay. So what he told me, he was specifically looking for something monastic.
With a +0 investigation, he gets a 20.
Yeah.
Damn.
What did he say? Oh, it was in a text. Sorry, it wasn't in this. Something like it.
God damn it, James.
Yeah, I was like, I was trying to remember. Looking for anything uniquely monastic, monastery, or dwarven items. Okay. All right. Going from the top to the bottom. Sej, 12 investigation. There's a lot of like gold plated stuff, items that seem to be like made of solid gold and other precious metals. You're unfortunately in that mindset where you're trying to compare things to back home and the ridiculous lavishness that is of the Golden Sands and the Sun-Baked
True,
Town
too true.
and all that. And everything just seems kind of like, yeah, not bad. But not what you're looking for. You're like, there's definitely value here. There are some uniquely less elaborate pieces. There seems to be a skull of probably a human. It seems like the features it might have been elven. The features are kind of hard to tell. It's it's a stripped skull. It's perfectly cut down the middle, vertically split in half, and it's a clean cut. So it's only one half of the skull is there, and then the rimming, like the edging of it, seems to have been almost like blackened for some reason. Like every little edge that would have left. I think it looks pretty neat. It looks like a ceremonial piece or something. But nothing really that jumps out at you. I mean, there's plenty of gems, golds, and all that, but not what you're looking for. Nothing that you would label as an ordained item.
I'm gonna scream out to the rest of the crew. I'm not even gonna pick it up. It seems like a cursed type item. Not
Yeah,
really
don't
interested in
no.
skulls. I'm gonna scream out to the rest of the party. Hey, if anybody sees any shields, let me know.
Davis, investigation was for what again?
So it was like anything that's not like currency, but is also useful. So with him saying keep an eye out for shields, I'll also look for a shield. But yeah, it's basically like so coins are out, gems are out, fancy like candelabras and like other shit, like stuff that we as an adventuring party could potentially use. So like weapons, armors, things like that.
There's an interesting collection of things. Like you're
Tools as
seeing
well.
there's like like you find a very elaborate, not quite like throne seat, but like a really nice chair just amongst the water that seemed to be like cast of metal, and the fabric on it is obviously waterlogged, but seemingly embedded in all these different gems and jewels. So you're looking for those odd objects and useful tools and stuff. You do find some collection of different things as you're swimming around. There is, honestly, there is different swords and bladed weapons. There's some axes, some various hammers. They seem like strewn about. There are such things that would strike your interest. Kind of letting you kind of use your imagination. With the 17, is there anything that what you'd like to have jump out at you?
Oh, I guess now that you asked, a shield would be nice.
Yeah, they're amongst like the time that you're taking to swim through. There are various shields here. Some rondos, some more like the gothic style shields. There's a couple kite shields. Just but nothing is like there's not just a pile of shields, right? It's just kind of strewn out. So you probably spotted about 4 or 5 different shields.
Sure, I'll gather those.
Okay. It's awkward and lumbering to move them through the water and try to dig them out of piles of, but you eventually get them situated. And for now, I'll just say that there's 5 shields
I'll
available.
just like lay them out on the like beach up here kind of thing.
Anything? I was trying to think. Any other equipment? And then if there's any other type of equipment that you think might be interesting, just kind of toss it my way. Maybe it's there. As you're kind of swimming around, looking for what you can through this murky-ish water. Okay. 19. Restate what you were looking for. And the Grito.
Oh, me.
Were you dinging me?
You're next. Yeah, but Al
Sorry.
rolled a 19 in investigation. I'm giving you plenty of time to come up with the most useless thing.
Oh, I got my ideas.
Sorry. So when you asked Davis about come up with anything come to mind, was that directed at me as well?
Is it like what were you specifically investigating for again? I just don't.
Oh, okay. Valuables. With the mindset of taking
Looking
off
at the
starboard for some stuff.
Bible lightest way. Okay, that's what it was. Okay. Um. Okay. As you're kind of taking your time, kind of wading through the water, you travel to another portion, not like separating from the group, but kind of getting a little bit further. And for the sake of showing you, you go over here. In there, as you might be able to see if you zoom in really close,
Oh.
there's a hoard mask. Looks almost like an Uni's face, if anyone's familiar with that. Like stylized, it is of a
Like an Oni's face?
like an Uni's face.
Uni.
Yeah, Oni, an Oni.
Yeah.
What's that fun for
Yep.
it? I said Oni. I didn't say you. It just came here screeching when I said that. Very meticulously worked on. You can see that there's some very fine etchings in it. That the carving and the casting of it definitely it's a piece of art. It's a mask, so it's not too heavy. It's probably the one thing that really stands out to you, Al.
A little spooky, possibly cursed. Perfect. I'm taking it. I will not wear it, but I'll put it at the hip.
Gotcha. Take a little of your, you kind of loosen your silken spider sash, kind of weave it through the eye holes, kind of get it there. Now it's around your waist. Ready to go. All right, so go ahead and just put, I don't know, fancy Umi mask on your inventory.
Nice.
All right. Now, returning back to the most useless what the heck item.
Heck yeah.
I'm ready.
So, I think I find 2 things. So I rolled pretty well.
Yeah.
So the first thing is a tapestry. But have you guys ever seen the drawings, like people drawing cats, but they've never actually seen a cat? Like medieval art
Sounds
kind of
amazing.
thing. So it's like that, except it is of a dragon, and it's signed. It's even signed Gimbo Figgles.
No.
And it is what you would think a dragon could be if you hadn't had it described to you by a 4-year-old. It's hideous, with just the worst dragon you've ever seen. Makes no sense why a dragon would want it, but yeah, it's delightful.
Okay.
And then with that is the most beat up, chewed on, missing pieces, crappy basic set of dragon chests that you would find. like just like something peasants would have made in use, and yeah, it makes absolutely no sense to be here because it's just quite shite.
All right, go ahead and add those 2 to your inventory with some descriptors so we remember.
Okay.
Question for the dragon statuette. Does it have like a vaguely human face because he's never seen a dragon face?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
Like it's
terrifying.
it's like kind of think like yeah, like if you hadn't seen Dragon, like think Trogdor, but
Oh,
like not Trogdor, just that bad
The serpent with forearms and biceps.
then. Yeah, just like it's got human face, it's got like limbs aren't quite in the right place. It's got wings, but they're like way at the back, and they're kind of tiny. And yeah, it's just it doesn't make
The
sense.
worst.
awesome.
It's the absolute worst.
It's just disgusting.
The
Yeah.
correct term is
Why did a
odd.
dragon have this? It's like they got some child's art and thought it was worth something.
Maybe he doesn't know what he looks like. He's never looked in a mirror and he thought, hey, that's me.
Or maybe it's one of the things he collected when it was just a worm and thought it was special.
His first conquest. He beat up a small child. and took it.
Took it off the fridge.
Hey, and Dragnard says, I've heard worse stories.
A dragon stole my homework.
And then I'm going to allow this to be retroactively done because I don't know what Dregnar would want to find with a natural 20 in a horde, looking for something monastic and or dwarven. So Dregnar is like, oh, look at this, and starts pulling something out, and we'll cut back to this whenever James is available. And we'll see what's
Wow,
happening.
nice redacted.
Yeah, it's like, nice, what did you find? I kind of want to, give him a chance. For the sake of our campaign, I will say that there is one other object that it stands out to all of you. And there is a necklace that you know how you see like the monkey chains, like monkeys hooked on in monkeys or whatever it's called? I forgot what it's actually properly called. Is it called a monkey chain or a monkey ladder or something like that?
Barrel of monkeys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
barrel.
monkeys, but you know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
It's a barrel of sloths. Sloth. Make it a necklace. I just
Making
figured,
a necklace.
yeah. Sloths are
That's
important to the camp.
that's such a weird necklace.
It's beautiful.
I've never seen something made like that. I guess I should ask, have I ever seen something made like that?
Give me a history check.
Oh my god. Natural 20.
For a total of
24.
or yes, you have. But not sloths, which is what's weird. So it is made of bone and ivory that has been treated and polished so that it actually is of like a valuable resource. Like it looks shiny and sheeny and really pretty.
Made of ivory?
Yes.
My people.
It's culturally insensitive.
It is from your people's arch nemesis, the Slothkin. No.
No.
Yeah, where they make
Again.
ceremonial necklaces from your bones. No, it's a ceremonial piece. It you've seen similar in 2 veins, and this is because you rolled a natural 20. One vein is really cheap and tacky people just trying to create bizarre sellable goods, and it's kind of like, hey, look, it's a chain of animals. So like you've seen it. You've even seen it where it's like elephants, where it's a necklace of elephants, where it's like an elephant's trunk holding an elephant's tail, holding an elephant's trunk, holding an elephant's, you know what I mean? Like
The
that.
kind of tourist shit that they buy in my
Yes,
town.
yes.
Oh,
But
I've never seen an oxodon before. Ooh, get the elephant thing. Ooh.
yes. But this is not that cheap touristy shit. This is meticulously made, and this is the other branch. Something ceremonial piece, something of value, something that has a history to it, though you're not keenly aware of this piece's history. Good find.
I'm keenly aware of. This is like a ceremonial. It's like built nice. It's got ivory in it. It's got like precious metal. It's nice, wherever it's from. And it doesn't seem cursed at all.
It barely seems cursed at all.
I will say, going on Dragongar's natural 20, just a couple things that he would have seen that you guys are welcome to say you wish to collect, because, hey, natural 20, right? But this isn't his particular thing. He's kind of working with the group. So, there is a almost like a weighted piece. It's almost, I don't know the best way to explain it, but it almost looks like a trapezoidal paperweight looking thing, affixed to a chain of. That's the best description I can have right now for you without doing further investigations. Made of mostly metals, and it seems unique and of value. If somebody wants to add that to your list or whatever, or just write it down in Discord or wherever. You also find, excuse me, you also find tube. And the tube is maybe 3 feet across, diameter 6, 7 inches in diameter. Can I have all of you? Well, no, wait, Saj. It's been a month. No, it hasn't been a month. All right, it doesn't matter. Saj has perfect memory.
Yes.
Yeah, your feet. It looks really similar to the style of tube that was holding some scrolls that you found
Oh yeah.
in the overgrown temple. It
That's
is
right.
heavily decored, and the style and influence of lions with wings, maybe some vaguely humanoid features, but it is empty. There's nothing in it, but it's another one of those really finely made, we'll call it like a scroll holder.
We got a scroll not too long ago, and it was from a scroll holder that looked kind of familiar to that. And I point at it. I have the scroll in my pack actually still.
And if you do pull out the one that is in your pack and you kind of uncork it, remember there are pearls embedded in the stopper for use.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Looks like it's the same inspiration. Like same people made it.
Yeah.
It's the Unveilers, right? Was that the I think?
If you're asking
I'm
the
asking
group,
the group.
I
I'm
can't.
asking the group. I looked at my notes.
I don't remember. I don't exactly remember, but if that does sound right. I can remember the tube, but I couldn't remember
Yeah.
what they were
That's what it
called.
guys. The researcher guys that like history something, right? Isn't that what they did?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I can remember things sometimes.
I'm good with direction. Not so good with names all the time.
Ah. But you do remember a pretty good amount of stuff too. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't have remembered even finding something
like
like that, but now that you point it out.
when I was growing up, some called it selective memory. as if I was trying to forget their names. Which,
Were you?
maybe I
Were
was.
you? Be honest.
Go ahead, insight check me.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
I dare you.
Bring it on.
The fourth
I
wall.
dare.
Who are you?
No.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah. And I mean, up to you guys. There is coinage and gems galore. So if there's anything particular you guys are looking in that case, just let me know. I can tell you what you're able to find and take. But
How badly you're cursed as a result.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
All right, I'm gonna roll. I've been holding on to it. Let's see.
What are you looking for?
I think Karos would be looking for weapons or
Yep.
accessories,
Okay.
like brooches, necklaces, rings, things that looked, not just like a gaudy whatchamacallit. He's looking for special stuff. Stuff that looks good.
Those black dice, Jesus Christ.
Nice.
You're using
I'm still
your,
on transparent
maneuver.
from.
Well, yeah. So they
I
just.
used my tactical assessment on the end of it.
Oh shit.
Okay. So this is again 31. I'm basically going to let you kind of imagine what you find, right? This is where I give you guys some agency and a chance to.
It's this belt. It's good. It says belt of giant strength on it. It's weird.
Wait, what's that? That's the awakened dragon's something sword of ascendant wrath. What?
Yeah. Cataclysm's Edge just sitting right there for you. No, but
Staff of the Magi.
that's weird.
What? Or no, wait, that's robes of the
Well,
Magi.
there's a staff of the Magi. Or staff of
Staff of the
power,
Magi,
or is
too.
there both?
Oh, is it? There's
No,
staff
there's-
of power, but there's a legendary staff that goes along with like the robes of the man. Maybe
There's
it's staff of the
Magi,
Magi.
yeah.
Staff of the Magi. Alright, 31. Okay, so Karos, you can basically find a few things of interest. You can kind of give me some descriptors on them, and we can kind of work to flesh them out. Within reason, obviously, right? Within lore. I will say, some things that you'll pick up on as you're kind of going through some of the valuables in here and all that. Just to emphasize some of the interactions and all that. You're kind of digging through and kind of holding your breath and going under and pulling. There's at one point where you find, and you don't know what it is at first. It's this long, solid tube. Again, basically, best to explain as like a bar or tube of metal. Doesn't seem to be heavily decorated or anything special about it. There's some metal rings on it and some grips to it. And as you start digging and digging and digging more around it, eventually it reveals to be a giant axe. I mean, an axe that is probably wielded by a giant. It is 40 feet long.
That's a big X.
It's a big axe.
ooh.
Is it-
Can you wield
Was
that?
it so? Does it look like it's so heavy that it made like an opening, like a giant axle?
You know what? If you want it to, I'll allow it.
That's just being an axhole myself.
I know. Definitely you find a spoil of a giant that this thing has killed at one point, and it took its weapon
Jeez.
and added it to its hoard.
All right, giant fucking axe of a giant.
Yeah, if you want to try to take it, you can, but I mean, it's a big ass axe. It's probably about, like I said, 30 or 40-foot axe.
He's got to try to move it at least once, right? Like at least get this baby out, then we could like mount it up. Get the Loon to try to pull it up out of the hole.
Add the axe of a fucking giant to your inventory. No, I mean, yes. I like to it. You can, if you want to give me a strength check. I guess athletics to try to.
40.
I'm gonna try
40.
to at least see if we can at least get it partly onto the shore or something like that, or just see, right? It's huge. Is it huge and heavy, or is it?
Yeah. Okay, it's huge. You don't know if it's huge and heavy. That's fair. Okay, go for it.
If I
All
could
right.
help him, because I've been kind of ferrying stuff to the shore already. If I see him, and I will say, especially if I see Carlos struggling with something that requires strength, I'll be like, "Here, let me help you, buddy."
This is giant axe.
And I give him a bardic, just like, you can move that. You got this shit.
Oh boy.
See for another eye roll. All right.
All right.
Avoid.
13, and then
Start.
what's the bardic? 10. Big bardic.
Not bad.
All right, 33.
33 total. All right. I gotta go to your character
That's
sheet and look at
on
what's
the
your.
cusp, isn't it?
I've gotta go down. I'm motioning to Davis, be like, okay, grab
Yeah.
the haft. I'm gonna go down and burrow into the stuff where the head is and just try to push it up.
Your push drag lift. Okay, push drag lift. Weight pounds is twice your carrying capacity or 30 times your strength score. So 20 times 30 is 600.
I'm the same, by the way.
Yeah. With water. All right. It's rough. It's rough going. You guys are struggling.
I had to go for air a bunch.
Yes.
Ugh.
But as you guys are having display of Dragar is just there in the water, just kind of this is gonna take forever.
Forever.
But I will say, if you guys are willing to spend about an hour doing this, yes, you can move the axe. And then I need a Constitution saving throw for both of y'all to try to avoid exhaustion, because that is fucking hard.
Sure. I mean, we're here to get shit, and Carlos thinks this is
Yeah.
cool, and it's fucking gigantic, so sure.
Yeah.
I don't think a 10. Ah, yes, I don't think a 10.
Oh, did you use my
Indomitable? Everything would have reset by now, because we've long rested.
Oh,
The only
okay.
thing that you don't, so the only thing you're
Duh.
down is 1 hit dice because you had used more than half, and
Yes.
1 charge off your healer's kit.
Gotcha.
I assume I fail with a 10.
All right, let's do
Yeah.
Indomitable.
All right.
Al, you should give them a hand. They look like they need help.
Did you say it's going to take upwards of an hour?
Yes.
After 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes,
Okay.
I'm going to polymorph myself into a gorilla and see what I can do.
Okay.
While they do that, I'm gonna start flipping through the shields that he left on the shore to see if they're anything special about them.
Sure. How are you trying to determine if they're special? And
I
Al,
don't have detect magic, so I don't know.
I mean, there's other ways to ascertain, right? There's other ways to ascertain the properties and the magics of an object or an item.
I think honestly, what I think I would do is take them each up and hold them to my chest, and almost like I'm guidancing myself. I'm in prayer, thinking if they're worth anything at all or not.
Okay. And of worth throughout this process, go ahead and, for that, go ahead and give me a religion check.
I like it.
Sure. 21 total.
Yeah, pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. All 5 of these have some sort of value to them, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be in this hoard. Well, you say that, and you look at the little statue thing that Rock found. They're well-made shields. Monarch kite. rondo, etc. They all seem to be made of good metals. They don't seem to really have much wear or tear on any of them, kind of indicating that they probably have some sort of enchantment of something, some kind on them. Are they necessarily all like special shields? No, I mean there's enchantments just to keep things polished and neat and clean. But yeah, you do. I guess for your sake, I'm gonna kind of give it to you, Donnie, Mr. Sage. Is there a type of shield that you like? Like not magical properties, but just like design wise. Al, athletics check for being a gorilla. You said gorilla, right?
Giant ape, yeah.
Oh, okay. Athletics check for a good check.
I
Just
did
for
say
fun,
gorilla, but I meant.
can I
Oh,
Gordon's Al's gorilla check?
What was that?
Yeah. So Al, your gorilla check on the on your athletics there is a 1.
it is a. Okay, I have a total of 7. Monkey brain is. These guys are hoping to get my axe out of the ground, and then I go down there and I just start drowning. Not the best at swimming. I'll just go for air, come back down.
Forget to hold your breath sometimes. Just kind of and suck in water.
Just waterboard
Blood-
myself a little bit casually.
Bloody water. Yeah. With little
I
chunks mimic floating through it this entire time.
At
was
one point, he'll go on the shore and scratch his chin, like, the hell? No, jump back in.
I'm gonna draw my trio of axe grabbers, just because it's entertaining me, and it's gonna be a monkey with owl face, and a very buff Karos, like big buff, like muscle straining, and then a much smaller Davis beside him that just looks like he's sweating and kind of like not doing much.
Accurate.
Got it. Okay, I love it. All right, so the oh no, don't have self doubt. So eventually, after about an hour, and you guys have kind of collected your items back on shore, I guess I'll move you guys kind of as a group to the shore. The kobolds have just been like, goofing around and swimming and just kind of tossing coins at each other, skipping coins across the water. They're not here to take anything. They know. They know it's for later. All right. So
The shield type, it's like it's still like a circular type shield, like a buckler, I guess. Still kind of light, but not just a buckler, I guess.
Like a round
if
shield.
it's not just a buckler.
okay. Let me just find something for example for you.
Here, I have an example for you, an image if you need.
Yeah, I just want to know. It's like a target or something like that, or a
Something
round
like that.
round shield or something like that. Rondasha. But
I'll
anyways,
put it in general.
you put it in where?
I'll dump it in
Oh,
general.
cool. Yeah, those are like Spartan type shields.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mediterranean, Eastern.
Alright, so it's like a Mediterranean, old Roman, basically like what would have been a rounded shield, but then it has
Like cutouts.
2 cutouts on it. Alright. Cool, I like it. I'll figure out something with that. We'll call it's like a target. It's like a Mediterranean target shield with cutouts. I can picture that. That's fine.
Sure.
Or I guess maybe it's target or target. I don't actually know how you're supposed to.
Targe.
Targe?
Just Targe, I think.
Targe. That's maybe what it is. There you go. I'm going off of memory here. I'm like going, how's it spelled? I can't even remember. So here's the interesting little bit about that axe. Let's find something real quick. So as you guys have been spending the whole time kind of dragging it and kind of moving it into place, where's my attunement rules? I have notes, but I can't pull them out. Why? I can't find my attunement notes. I know it's instant, but
Right.
all right, Karos. So I think you're attuned to all three of your slots are attuned, right?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Okay, cool. So, David, you're too exhausted to pick up on this while you guys are heaving this 1,000+ pound axe through the water. And eventually you get it up to shore, and it dominates this little shoreline within the cave. Next to Sej with his little shields, and Al with his little uni mask, Dregnar with whatever he found on top of the
I'll
slot.
clap Karos on the shoulder as we're done and be like, "Yeah, you clearly need some help," and then just collapse.
Car's huffing. He's puffing. It's a lot of swimming and pushing, and
it's not easy.
it's exhausting.
Actually,
It's like
from my back, I'm gonna start doing like the kind of normal speech that I do for a respite. Like as people are looking through their shit, I'll be like, "Guys, we worked together. We got through the pile of shit down there and found some stuff, and I'm just gonna keep going for a while, just rambling mostly while everybody's looking through their shit."
I'm just gonna see Loon kind of walk over you and start kind of licking up some of the water
thanks.
off you.
When Davis bows out, that's when I'm gonna hand him the drawing and then just move a safe distance away.
Sidestep away, crab walk away. So Carlos, the one thing that you pick up on is that axe. Now that because you've now had exposure to magic items and stuff, it tried to make a connection. There is that innate, like, you guys have been exposed to magic items. You know that if they're presented, they want to, but it just couldn't find purchase on your being.
everybody, maybe be a little careful. I'm gonna ask Davis if he felt any pull.
No, I was pulling. Are you saying you didn't feel me pulling? I was pulling, man.
I was pushing.
I'm sick of this. Like, I'm strong too sometimes.
No, this thing seems like it wants to attune to me. I was just wondering if it's lashing out, trying to grasp a wielder, or...
I was stuck in wind a lot. I could barely feel myself during a lot of that.
I drank too much water.
Yeah, I definitely swallowed some of that gross water. But no, I didn't.
Sedge, Rock, or Al, you have a tech magic or anything to see? I gotta assume this thing is special, aside from being gigantic, but
I'm not sitting up. If you bring it closer to me, I'll tech magic it.
he'll just kind of look down at the axe and look at you. How far? He'll just go over and pick you up and bring you over.
Works too.
I mean,
Gentle.
get too close. I won't put you too close. Like, I'll put you what I guess is like an acceptable range to use your spell.
Gonna put 2 fingers of my forehead. Detect magic.
Okay.
How does this axe look?
It radiates most certainly a magical aura. How do I want to explain it? As you're trying to pinpoint on the axe itself is massive, but the magic and that little blip of the magic, while permeating through the axe, it's very faint throughout the entirety of the axe. And as you're kind of looking and scanning it over, it takes a little bit because you have to like walk around and kind of walk by it. It's 40 some feet. Somewhere along if you would like imagine like where it would be gripped by two giant hands holding it. There is in between where the grips would be, there is a warp to the staff portion of it, and that is where it seems like the magic is radiating out from that axe and enveloping the entirety of what is a very nice axe. But the axe, now you're realizing itself, the axe is not magical. It is something on the axe that is causing it to be magical. Kind of like the baleful claw that Karos has with his flail, or the dreamstone that Dregnar has with his fist wraps.
Okay, I'll show that with Karos. It's not itself magical, but it's like carrying magic still. It's just between. You see where the grips are worn? In between that is where it's strongest. Try
Carlos,
using that.
he'll kind of ask you if you can like glance at he'll hold up the baleful claw on the end of the flail and say, like, does this give the same vibe? Like, I don't remember this thing like
Yeah,
being hungry for me to use it. That thing was like plucking at the back of my skull. It felt like trying to worm its way in. I guess I'm just yeah.
I was
Then
gonna go on.
I was just gonna say, I'm trying to think if I mean, people know curses exist, right?
Yeah, they don't
It'd be like,
understand
We've,
them per se.
we've
yeah,
definitely
yeah. Like,
seen
not
her
saying
take
like I'd
our
be like,
friend Marb's eyes.
So yeah, like okay, the concept of a curse is pretty well spread throughout all different societies in materia. Just because, like like even in modern day, people are like, oh, that's cursed. How we know what a curse? Do we understand what forms a curse? What creates a curse? No.
Like,
gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, he'll just kind of be like, that's all I was thinking about. Is it seems like it's similar to this based on what you said, but I mean, yeah,
Al's gonna point at it with his last ounce of energy smile. He's like, that's it. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's not. It isn't magical, but it's like it's not radiating, not immune. It's carrying some still, and then he kind of puts his head back a little bit.
kind of magical symbiote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
onion nap.
Yeah. So like, what's interesting when you look at Carlos's flail, right? Like you might remember what it looked like previously. It was just a standard metal flail, but now that the baleful claw is kind of affixed to it, it kind of almost warped the metal so that it kind of grabbed around the ball. It's like almost like a claw grabbing the ball, and then the chain itself became a little bit more wicked looking, and then where the claw merged with the item, you see like a little indention of that claw just kind of sitting there around the grip where he has it. Kind of the same of the axe. The axe doesn't, it's large, it looks special, but not like crazy. And then when you're gazing over it, there's that one focal point of magic, same as Karas' flail. So.
Or wake me up if you figure it out.
Oh, good.
Fly there.
I guess,
Well,
Al, the thing you would know at this point is you can remove the source of magic.
Can remove?
You can. How else would you have gotten the claw off of something to put into Karos's weapon?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll.
Did that have to be attuned to you to get rid of it, or?
That you're not sure of the process, but I mean, I'm gonna say logically speaking, and Dragnar will kind of be tossing his little dawn stone. He kind of takes it, slides it out from one of his little wrist wraps, kind of tossing it. So you say it's like, what are these?
Al with his eyes closed, not even looking over. Yeah, you just separate it from the one item and then you can combine it with something else. I just don't know how to do that, but you can split it. You'll figure it out.
I'll look at Sedge, be like, you don't happen to know how to get rid of curses just in case, do you?
I can. I just have to sleep on it. I've tried that before with our cursed gold, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
didn't really work then, but I can.
Well, he'll kind of ask everybody, like, I mean, I can try to pull it apart here, or I don't know if, yeah, I don't want to start going crazy and messing you guys up. Not that you can't take me as a team, but, you know, Dragon's
Uh,
dead, Mimic's dead. We don't need to start butting heads.
Owl reaches into his pouch and holds straight up the bottle of holy oil and says, "If all else fails, this won't." And then just kind of keep his arm up for a few seconds.
Should we do this outside? Because last time we did it in the wagon and it was bad.
And
No more wagons.
I'm gonna look at the axe and look at you and look at the axe and be like,
Oh, yeah.
you want to get this thing outside?
No. Fuck.
Karos, carry me outside.
All right, everybody step back.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. And Karos will kind of go to where he pointed at the
Yep.
thing and see if there's any like latch, lever.
It's
Is it a wrap?
interesting. Yeah, you're looking at it, and there's just this weird like warping to the staff, like to the that holds the head, right? It's where it's like almost. And now you're looking at it, you realize that this was a small tree at one point that they just cut off and made into the. Because you see like the bark and the striation, it's probably been heat treated in some way to kind of make it a little bit stronger, and there's a lot of metal bands clamping it.
Mm-hmm.
And relatively, the bark and the patterning on the is pretty even. Like the bark has been shaved off, and you kind of see the underlayer, and it's pretty smooth. But then when it gets to the point where owl focus, it just starts to twist and gnarl and move, or been like warped. That there's nothing there that you can see. There's not like a gem or a strap, a piece of metal or a nail or anything that you can put out. But you understand that is there. Like it's there. I don't know how to explain it. The source is right there. So if you want, what you are able to do, because you understand, you're able to, if you wish, you put your hand in the area and like reach for it. And as you do, you can almost like grab at it. And as you're kind of like pulling, you start to like extract what is the source of magic that is in the axe. And Al, as your eyes are closed and you're laying there, and you kind of look over as he's doing this just for a brief moment, you start to see that sheen around that magical aura around the axe being sucked and drawn away from the ends, getting pulled closer and closer to the object that Karos plucks out. And then the axe itself is just dull and boring, and you kind of close your eyes.
Hey, you figured it out. Good job.
Hesitant comes up.
What you doing? In your hand, Karos. What is this? It's the most perfect cube you've ever seen.
Like are the sides sharp?
Uh, not sharp. But they do have an edge to them, but they're not like sharpened, if that makes sense.
Right, not like bladed, but sometimes when something's machined like really precisely on an
Yes.
angle, you're like, ooh, that like the points of these cubes would really hurt if somebody threw it at your head or something.
Absolutely, 100%. Like if that's the reference that you're going for, then yes, it is like perfectly made. For sure. Like it is as 90-degree angle as 90-degree as it can. It is as straight can be. It is as perfectly cubed as perfectly cubed can be.
Dang. Whatever it is, it's a marvel of craftsmanship, that's for sure. I'll kind of bring it over to show, I guess, Davis, whoever's closest.
I backed up, but sure.
Well, I was like, I'll do like test, like my hands still work.
Yeah, you're
I'll
fine.
I'll set it down on the ground. Like, can I let go of it?
Yes, you're able to put it down.
All right. Yeah, then I'll just shrug, pick it back up, and
It's light.
seems all
Does
right.
it do anything though? I mean, it's cool.
I mean,
it's very smooth.
Don't eat it.
it attaches to weapons at least.
Don't eat it.
Yeah, I'm good with mine. You can, someone else can have it. But wow, cool.
I guess we'll find out. Adam, with figuring out what things do, I don't remember what the raw. I know that once you attune to things, you know how they work, but
yeah.
Can you, without the identify spell, can you?
You can get a general sense if you have some sort of context to derive, some understanding of the item based on maybe its origin. Like if there's some sort of historical, religious, some sort of familiarity that you might be able to pull from this, then absolutely, you might be able to get a context. I will say for the sake of it,
Seems
right
like
now, I don't.
alien.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that you would have seen before.
Yeah, I feel like this is something where you're like, wow, it's not that impressive of a thing, except for just how precisely it seems to be made.
Exactly. That's what I'm going for on this thing. It's so plain yet so basic, but so perfect in its plain and basic that it's kind of wonderful and like wondrous in that nature. It's just, huh. Yeah, like I'm glad that kind of came across. Good. Yay, go me. Woohoo. So, but yeah, that's it. To say without like without beating a dead horse, it's a perfect cube. As perfect as you've ever seen anything, as perfect as it can be. It almost like when you look at it, your eyes just kind of don't believe it, right? Like you're trying, like your eyes almost like imagine it kind of being less perfect than it actually is.
Like I look at one face and it suddenly seems two-dimensional just because it's like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at a square. I'm looking at a cube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can add a perfect cube to your inventory.
Perfect cube.
Yeah.
Every now and then I get a little add item.
Yeah. So in the meantime, respiting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Pebble is as beefy as she's ever been. Kobolds probably have about twice their HP, if not more.
Yeah.
I was actually kidding a little bit at first. Does Pebble count as a creature for this?
Yeah, she's a creature.
Okay, so yeah, I just like super bolstered our non-party members, except for Linlin. Sorry, you're tanky-ish compared to them.
All right, so the kobolds and Pebble have 10 temporary hit points. So they're like, that was a damn. Yeah, you even know how to use those words. Shit. I mean, like, I thought you were just, like gonna, I don't know, pass out or something. But
I
man,
might.
listen,
But yep. No, I don't know
no.
a lot of good words, but the ones I can I can make things happen.
You know the right words
Oh,
for
thanks.
the right time.
Whew, that's much better. And yeah, I spent some hit dice too, of course.
Sounds good. So, yeah, where would the menagerie like to go? Are you staying in the cave or in the lair? I keep calling it a cave today. What's the plan, my friends?
Shall we get on with it?
Carver, I believe.
Only thing I've got is we're not going through those thorns.
Wait,
again.
wait. I have a thing for this, right? I'll start drawing a circle on the ground.
I was gonna hang on 1 second. Carlos is gonna jump in and grab like some gold because he's had the same amount of gold for like ever. No, that's not true. I made 2 platinum at one time, and then I made a few gold on the betting in town.
Takes me
But
a minute.
I'm still sitting at like 2 platinum and 23 gold for like forever. So he's gonna jump down and get some fucking pocket change.
Are you gonna try to like max out the most you can carry, or?
I think with the fact that we've done what we've done and we're getting ready to go, he's just gonna go down and like, I don't know, grab a few handfuls without really straining himself or worrying about bursting his pouch, right? Like,
Understood.
he'll obviously try to grab the platinums if he sees them, but if it's just gold and
Yeah.
Are you announcing this, or are you just going?
generative. It's like, yeah, I think I'd say it is like, you know what? I'd like to be able to do some shopping when we get back to town, versus Sedge's and others' generosity here. So I'll be just a quick grab.
Well, I mean, did we determine if the money's bad, guys? Like, is it okay to grab the money? Like, weren't we afraid? I'm looking at Rock and Al and I guess less Sedge, but more the Rock and Al.
I guess, yeah, I'll look around and be like, did anybody... I mean, we obviously touched the gold as we were moving it around to look for stuff, but did anybody...
I will pocket the biggest gem of whatever I can find. Be like, I think it's fine. And yeah.
Oh.
It's up to us to find out, really.
Okay. I mean, Rock was the most scared of this shit, so if he's cool with it, then sure.
You brought up a good point. Carlos will... Let me look at my kit of what I've got here.
Yeah, and then I'll just let you guys know as you're looking. We'll have you guys start heading out most likely, and then we'll probably fast track you boys to the next portion and take our break. Just as an idea.
Carlos will drop his non-tainted gold and platinum and silver into like a side pocket of his backpack that's maybe being used for something else, and just be like,
so you're compartmentalizing. You're separating.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in there and be like, all right, this is my money sack. It's empty now, but if I'll wait to spend any of this, we can see if anything weird starts happening. We can exile it or whatever the heck we did with the other pouch, or come back here and throw it back in the pile. But I'll keep it all in here for some time until we determine it to be non-hostile.
Gotcha.
When people aren't looking, I immediately throw that gem back into the pile, and I just kind of mumble, I don't want damn visions again.
Love it.
All right, so yeah, I'll jump down, grab some handfuls, get my coin pouch not bursting, but I can't imagine it takes too much effort to grab handfuls of coins.
You could grab at once, and you're like digging. It's like,
Where's all the gold?
Right? Like, Marianne?
Real quick before, because my idea was I was going to start drawing a circle on the ground, but I'm going to look at the group, and will this group fit in that tiny fucking room? Especially with Lun.
Lun's gonna try and be as small as she can, all 4 paws in the same spot, as close to you as she can, so if you didn't...
I mean, I can draw a big ass circle, I think.
Just raise it
I
above your
mean-
head. Easy.
Just jump. Like 2 people jump on her back. That'll save space.
Fair.
You know of another circle, Davis.
Around here?
Where you popped up in the the crack checkers camp. The destination point
Yeah.
in the storage. Yeah, you can go there if you want, if you're concerned.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Actually, I didn't actually know. Could I decide where to go with it? Like functionally, I don't know if I knew that.
Oh, I mean, sorry. I thought. Hey, if you know of a
You
location
can choose it.
that is active, you can choose
Okay.
it on
Then
the
yeah,
mountain.
we would do that. So yeah, I would start drawing a circle.
Sorry. That was meant to be in the you know this because you're attuned to this thing.
Okay.
So you
And
know
I
the
actually
crack
had,
checker.
as a player, had forgotten about that one. So yeah.
So you have the crack checker camp. You have the small.
Yeah, the stars, the room
We'll
between the
call it
stars.
brick room. Yeah,
The
and then
forge.
you have the one that enters in the forge, and then you have the temple of transmission inside of the forge, the city proper. So you know of 4, and I would maybe make notes on that somewhere and try to give some descriptors so you can kind of try to remember. And also, it might in the future, should we not be in Carver in this mountain for like 2 years and come back, be like, wait, what? I don't remember what these were. Leave my notes. So yes. Perfect. So Davis begins drawing. Karos. I'm gonna say, man, I wish I had like a jar of like odd bits and change where I can just kind of scoop my hand and to see how many coins I can grab out with my hand real quick. We'll say it's 4 handfuls of gold or of coins. Each handful, for the sake of argument, we'll say is 30. So go ahead and roll me. I know it doesn't necessarily exist. No, we'll say you're looking specifically for platinum. Okay, so go ahead and roll me a d20 4 times because it's 4 handfuls.
Okay, 1 second. I'm eating raspberries.
And we're gonna go on break here in a moment because it's a little breaking point. And then I would ask y'all during the break or after the break, just to be so kind as just info dump the things that you have collected based on what I have told you, so that I can line it up and make sure that it's equal to my list that I have. And in case I forgot something, or some of y'all had created things, right? So wow, 15 and 19. All right, well, Cars, you're making bank. So add. So you have 53 platinum pieces.
Whoa.
Plus each handful was another 10. So 93 total platinum pieces.
Dang.
And then 93, 120 minus 93. My brain is slow right now. 30, 27? No. Wow, math, brain. Davis, Danny, you're the smartest
Sorry, what?
one. 120 minus 93.
27.
27. Yes, okay, cool. My brain worked. You have then 27 gold pieces, Karos. So 93 platinum, 27 gold.
Phew.
Okay.
All
Hey,
right.
Dragon's Horde.
That is true. That kind of puts in perspective, like, Jesus Christ, there's so much shit down here, but hey, no need to be greedy, right?
So
Maybe I am greedy.
maybe you'll come back, you'll murder the whole party and just claim this horde and become the next dragon. Because that's
Well,
how that works.
now that I know that there's a hole, I can just fly back into the hole.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you know of it. You don't know what it looks like on the outside. That's the problem. Right.
that's fair. That's fair.
Right. So please go ahead and with Ryder Davis collecting from the
I
horde.
didn't expect you to read it right now, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Nothing.
Yeah,
I got
I
nothing.
don't want to read them. This is funny.
Oh no.
So, with the hour spent lugging the axe out, with some rest, with some discussion, with some collecting of items, a few hours have passed. It is still, by the time that y'all navigate the lair and leave, it's been quiet. No rumbling, no dragonkin coming through, no additional brambles, no mimics. You see the remnants of the dispelled wall that, as Davis thinks, the raven caused it to go away. Rock knows that it was his dispel magic. And y'all are able to eventually, as you're heading out, you start to see your friend kobolds that have been kind of like left as like a daisy chain behind in little groups, and they seem all happy to see you. They start to exchange information amongst themselves with Emu, Temin, and Bradburn, just letting them know what they saw, that you guys killed a little mimic. There's a tree. We're not allowed to touch the tree. Don't touch this tree. Tree's off limits. Stuff like that. That there's just piles and piles of gold and coin and valuables, but that doesn't seem to surprise the kobolds. They know what a dragon is. They know what they do. And now that that you guys have collected a few things, and they kind of point out, like they see the uni mask on Al's leg as it's tied to a sash. They see the random things that y'all are carrying out with you. Each one of the kobolds is carrying one of the 5 shields, and Saj has 2 of the shields with him, like working with him. So they're having discussions, and eventually, you guys, when you start heading further and further out of the lair, closer to the entry, the only other sound that you start to hear is just that rumbling thunder has turned into rain. Not violent or anything, but there's just the constant rain. And that's, I guess, where we'll take our first break.